Let's start off by having a little list of methods of factorization. What are my methods of factorizing? Alice, on the top of the game, always difference of two squares. Trinomials. Yes, grouping. And what's that one that I love so much? The last one. The last one I love so much. Nice, Arian. Common factor or brackets. Or brackets. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and a little bit of exponential equations, but this is revision, okay? Of course, if you don't understand, you will stop me and tell me you don't understand so that I can help you. Now let's get going. Let's look at A. What type of expression is A? How many terms do we have there? For A, we have two terms, guys, right? We have an x squared and a -9. So that means which method of factorization do we use over here? Let me write this down. X squared minus 9 equals 0. What will be my chosen method of factorization for x squared minus 9 equals 0? Let's hear it, guys. I have two numbers, x squared and a 9, and I have a difference in between. So then I have to use the difference of two squares, because those two numbers are both square numbers. So that means I'm going to open my two brackets, equals 0. And what are my first factors that are going into my brackets that make up x squared? What are my two factors that make up x squared? Come on, guys. I know you know this. Thank you, Alice. X and X. Thank you, Marlene. X and X. Great. What are my two factors for 9? My two factors for 9 are 3 and 3. And what are my symbols in here? My symbols is a positive and a negative. And if you think about it, guys, a positive and a negative is the only way you would get a -9. Because if you multiply a positive with a positive, you get a positive. If you multiply a negative and a negative, the answer is a negative. So the only way we could get -9 over here is to have two different symbols in the brackets. So now I have my two factors and they're equal to 0. So what do? My two factors equal to 0. So let's remember what the statement says. It says a certain bracket multiplied by a certain bracket equals 0. That means one of these brackets have to be 0. So therefore, either x plus 3 is 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0, right? Now let's solve for the one on my left-hand side. X plus 3 is equal to 0. 3 has to go over, and if 3 goes over, it becomes a what? -3. So therefore, for my first solution, x is equal to -3. My second solution, I'm taking over a -3. So then x will be equal to 0 plus 3. Nice, Maureen. So my second solution for this one is x is equal to 3. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's look at B. X squared. B is too easy for us. Let's look at C. Okay, we do all the ones that I feel like We'll push you guys. X squared minus 3x minus 28. All right, out of our 4 methods of factorization that we see here, which one are we going to use for C? We'll use a trinomial. Thank you, Marlene. So I'm going to open my 2 brackets. And once again, factors for x squared are x and x. Now let's talk about the symbols inside my bracket. If my first symbol in the trinomial is a negative, then my first bracket will have a what? A negative. Thank you. And does this negative mean I am keeping or I am changing the second one? Why is it so thick? Changing it to a what? A positive. Nice. Now, what are my factors of 28? The first one, that color is terrible. You can barely see anything. 7 and 4. 1 and 28. 2 and 14. Out of all these factors, we want one that's going to give us a negative 3. And which combination is that? Which of these combinations will give us a negative 3? 7 and 4, that is true, but which one is negative? Remember, we want a negative 3. Nice, Alice. So 7 has to be negative and 4 must be positive. So there we go. We factorized successfully. So that means either x minus 7 has to be 0 or x plus 4 has to be a 0. So then if you take my positive 7 and we move it over to the other side, my first solution will be either x is equal to 7, or if I take my positive 4 and take it to the other side, my second solution is, nice guys, x is negative 4. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at D. D is very interesting in my opinion. Right? D is very interesting. 2x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. I'm going to write it over here. 2x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. Great. Let's hear any ideas of solving this one. Ideas for solving this one? Common factors. Beautiful, Marlene. What is the common factor between 2x squared and 4x? Just 2? 2x. Nice, guys. What will be left on my first term if I take out a 2x? Just x minus what's left on my second one? 2 equals 0. Now, we still have 2 factors. They might look different because it's not 2 brackets, but we have a factor of 2x and we have a factor of x minus 2. So that means that either 2x is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Let's solve the first one. How am I going to get this x alone here? Divide by 2 on both sides. The 2's on my left-hand side are going to divide into one another. Therefore, x is equal to what? 0 divided by 2? 0. Thank you. Or, how do I get rid of minus 2? I plus 2. So I take it over and I add 2. Or x is equal to positive 2. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Guys, let's look at E4x squared minus 16. It's easy to think it looks like this one, but it doesn't. 4x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Ideas, please. There is a common factor. Nice. There is a common factor. There are actually two ways to solve this one, right? Difference of two squares. Like you can either go straight to difference of two squares or you can start with common factor. Which one are we voting to start with? Common factor. Okay, what is my common factor then? Oh, it is a 4 indeed. 4. What's left for my first term when I take out a 4? X squared minus, what's left for my second term when I take out a 4? Minus 4 is equal to 0. Great. Now what? You can do difference of two squares, but we have a problem. We have a problem over here. What's up with that 4 in front? Remember, it's not a variable. It's just the number. So we can't say 4 equals 0. Do you get it? That doesn't make sense. So how do I get rid of that 4 in front of my bracket? Inverse operation, which is what? This is 4 times the brackets. Think about if it was 4x is equal to 5, you would go and divide by 4. So the only way to get rid of that 4 is we have to go and divide both sides by 4. Remember, you're not allowed to divide only if it's a variable. But in this case, it is not a variable. We know what it is. It's 4. Okay. So we divide both sides by 4. The ones on the left-hand side will cancel each other out. And I still have a 0 on my right-hand side because 0 divided by 4 is still 0. So then I'm left with x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. Now I can do difference of two squares, right? What will my two brackets have? What will my two brackets have? X and 2. There we go. X2, X2. And symbols, a positive and a negative. Nice, guys. Now we have our two factors. One of these brackets has to be equal to 0. That's why we say either x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. And once again, this positive 2 goes over, and when it goes over, it becomes a what? Therefore, x is negative 2. Or my second solution, x is equal to positive 2. Nice, guys. Let me zoom out for anyone who wants to take a screenshot. And while you guys are taking screenshots, can I have thumbs up, thumbs down? Can I have more than I did the last time, please? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I still only have 1, 2. Okay, there we go. Picking up a little bit. All right. Okay, I'm hoping screenshots, people, you're done. Now, this is a mixture of exponential equations. No, not yet. This is just exponential equations. Who remembers how to do exponential equations? What do we want when we're doing exponential equations? What do we want on both sides? Not okay, it is equal. Yes, equal or the same base. Yes, that is true, guys. Wonderful. And how do we get it on our calculator again? Remind me. If you don't know how to change your number to the same base on both sides, how do we do it on our calculator? Let's say I want to know what is 8 as a base, well, with the base of 2. 8 with the base of 2. How would I find that on a calculator? There we go. I would go on the calculator and say 8. Press the equals button. Press the shift button. And press the factorization button. That's the one with the dots and the closed dots and the commas and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And if we do that, so 2 to the power of x, that will tell me that 8 is the same as 2 to the power of what? 3. Nice. Now we have our same base. Guys, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We equate the exponents. Drop the bases, equate the exponents. Therefore, x is equal to 3. Okay. Let's go for it on B. 3 to the power of x is equal to, rewrite 81 as 3 to the power of something. Nice, Alice. That was fast. Incredibly fast. 3 to the power of 4. Once again, I have my same base. So what happens with my exponents? Therefore, x is equal to 4. All right. C is not so one step. 2 to the power of x plus 1. How do you write 4 with a base of 2? 2 squared. And then that means the whole x plus 1 is equal to 2. Are we done solving for x here? What do we still need to do? We are indeed not done. What do we still need to do? We do the inverse. Inverse operation for plus 1 is? So it's 2 minus 1. Therefore, my final answer for x is what? 1. Ooh, you guys are on fire. Guys, if you are lost or we're going too fast, please stop us. Remember, this is revision, so everyone is bound to go very fast. Now, this one a calculator can't help you with. But I know I want a base of 5 on both sides. So that's 5 to the power of, oh, Alice already has it. 5 to the power of 0, because anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. And now we have the same base on both sides. What does that tell me about my exponents? Therefore, x is equal to 0. The last one, you might need your calculator. 3 to the power of x minus 2 is equal to 3 to the power of 6. I want everyone to try it and see that you get 3 to the power of 6. Everyone needs to get used to this, okay? We can't rely on one person for answers. In a test, you need to be able to get to 3 to the power of 6. All right. Now we have a base of 3 on both sides. So what happens with my exponents? You equate them. You drop the bases, but you equate the exponents. That means x minus 2 is equal to 6. We are not done solving for x. What do we still need to do? It's not 1, but it is the inverse of 2. So then I'll have x is equal to 6 plus 2. Therefore, what is my final answer for x is equal to 8. Nice, guys. I'm going to zoom out, take screenshoties. Can I have thumbs up, thumbs down on all of these questions, please? There's 12 of you in here. I see all of you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Some of you are still very quiet. I don't know what's going on. All right. Oh, holidays are going on. Eee, guys, do you know that algebra is everywhere? So even the topics we're going to be doing next term will have algebra. So if I were you guys, I would brush up my algebra skills. Otherwise, it's going to sabotage everything else. Okay. This is a mixture. Okay. I want us to do this. Now, put a tick on 1 because we already did it. I checked our past lesson. So we already did number 1. Let's move on to number 2. I know, Alice, if you struggle with algebra, it will haunt you all the days of your maths life. 3 to the power of 2x minus 3. 3x plus 2 plus 2 equals 9. Okay, this is still an exponential equation. So what do we do again? What do we want on both sides? Nice. We're going to change my 9 to a base of 3. That means I'm going to have to know. I'm not going to rewrite this because you guys can see the question. This is equal to 3 squared. Okay. Same bases on both sides. So what can I do with these exponents? I can equate them. Okay, now let's get equating. 2x minus 3 times 3x plus 2 plus 2 on the side is equal to 2. Ooh, how are we going to solve this guy? What, guys? How are we going to solve this one? Firstly, we have a problem. What is our problem with this question? You do not want to FOIL it, trust me. The inverse of what, Pamandla? Huh. Not that one, but this one. Okay. Remember when solving equations, we want everyone to be on the left. We want equal 0. Okay. So I am going to move this 2 over here to the left-hand side. And what happens when I move it to the left-hand side? It will be minus 2 plus 2 minus 2 equals 0. Now, tell me something about this plus 2 minus 2 over here. They're gone. So I'm just left with 2x minus 3 times 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. Does that not look a little familiar? Remember, we're solving for x, so you do not want to FOIL. You already have 2 factors here. Yes, Pamandla, equate them to 0. Remember, if you expand this, if we start FOILing this, right, we're going to have to factorize them again to get back to where we are. Whereas at this point, we can just say 2x minus 3, either 2x minus 3 is 0 or 3x minus 2 is 0. And that's because there is nothing next to those brackets anymore. We have gotten rid of it. Okay, so let's solve for x for these two problems over here. What do I get rid of first on my first equation? The 3, yes. So I'm going to take it over. I'm going to have 2x is equal to positive 3. Great, I'm done. Now what? Divide by 2 on both sides. The 2's on my left-hand side will cancel one another out. Therefore, x is 3 over 2. Or, okay, let's get started with the first one. With the second one, excuse me. This is actually 1.5. So if you want to simplify it, that's fine. 1.5. All right. Second one, what do we get rid of first in my second equation? The 2. So 2 goes over that way. Then I have, okay, my writing pad is misbehaving here. Then I have 3x is equal to positive 2. And then what do? Divide by 3 on both sides. The 3's on my left-hand side cancel each other out. Therefore, x is 2/3. Is there any more simplifying we can do? I hope so, Spamandla. There is no more simplifying we can do here. All right, so we're done. Okay, now let's look at number 3. If there's no exponents, then there's a what? It's a +2 in the beginning. Oh, no, I'm not getting it. Oh, yes, I am getting it. Over here. There. 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 So then it'll be -2 divided by 3. -2. Guys, we need to be on our A game before Marlene says we are messing up the brain. Thank you, Marlene. Marlene is here to be our watch. Every time Marlene finds something. Even me, guys, I'm also slacking. Imagine. Okay, let's look at a 3. 7 to the power of 2x squared plus 1 is equal to 7. They are on autopilot. I actually agree, Spamandla. Okay, guys, I have an equation there. If there's nothing as an exponent, then what is my exponent? It's a 1. So it's 7 to the power of 1. They were very nice to us because they already have it in the same basis on both sides, right? So then all I have to do is equate the exponents. So 2x squared plus 1 is equal to 1. Great. What did I say we want in an equation? Look at my right-hand side. Equals 0, and currently it's equal 1. So what do we do to the 1 on the right-hand side? There we go. It comes to join everybody. So then I have 2x squared is equal to, no, I need to show my calculations. Guys, don't be like me. Show you're working out. +1 minus 1 equals 0. What happens to this +1 minus 1 situation over here? They're gone. So I'm left with 2x squared equals 0. Okay, I'm pretty sure you can all tell the answer here, but just keep working it out. Let's divide by 2 on both sides. Then x squared is still 0. And if you square root both sides, therefore x is equal to 0. I didn't add plus minus because is 0 positive or negative, guys? Is it possible to have a -0? No. So I just didn't add it. Okay. All right, guys. Let me zoom out. There. And yes, you can see where we are going with this. Don't run away. Okay. Yes, of course. By the way, our final lesson on Thursday is exam questions. So you know I'm not going to disappoint when it comes to exam questions. I will definitely meet your standard. Okay. Let's see. The length of a rectangle is twice its breadth. Right. If the area is 18 meters squared, what is the length? Good. Guys, let me hear from you. If this was you, where would you start with this? Anyone? Do we know the length of this rectangle? We do not know the length, right? But they said the breadth is twice. Oh, we don't know the breadth either. Excuse me. I want to ask about breadth. Do we know the breadth? Because it says the length is twice its breadth. We don't know the breadth. So if we don't know something, what do we represent it as? What? A letter. Okay, so I'm going to say let the breadth. Alice, I'm going to come back. I saw you wrote a method there, but I'm coming back to it, okay? I didn't ignore it. I am coming back to it. I'm going to discuss it with you just now. Is equal x. So if the length, breadth is equal to x, what is the length? Is you gonna yo guys, even English is tapping out. What will the length equal? Therefore, the length, if the length is twice the breadth, guys, then it is 2x. Beautiful, Alice. Okay, now how do we work out the area of a rectangle? How do we work out the area of a rectangle? Okay, great. So area is the length times the breadth, okay? But we know the area. What did they tell us that the area is? 18. So here where I have area, I'm going to say 18. I'm actually going to put it on the right-hand side. Length, we said it's 2x. So 2x times x is equal to 18. What's 2x times x? So 2x squared is equal to 18. Great. Now let's find my x. Let's find the x, guys. What's the first thing that we do here? Nice, Alice. We divide by 2 on both sides. My 2's on the left-hand side will cancel each other out, and I'll be left with x squared is equal to, what is 18 divided by 2? Equals to 9. All right, and then now what? Square root. Here's my question. Am I doing the plus minus situation over here? Okay. Oh, I'm going to say the square root plus minus the square root of 9. So therefore, x is equal to 3 or x is equal to negative 3. Are these solutions valid, both of them? Are these two solutions valid? What is x? Let's look at the question that we're working with here. What is x? It is a breadth. Have you ever gotten a negative measurement, guys? So are these two solutions both valid? Ha. So you say, but length, is it length? Breadth. Measurements cannot be negative. Therefore, x is just 3. Right. So now we know the breadth, but the question was, what is the length? So if the breadth is 3, then the length is 2 times 3, which is 6. So you're right here. So the length, is it just 6? What was my unit, guys? Meters. Guys, it was just meters, not millimeters. Okay. Now, I am showing you all these parts because this question might be worth a lot of marks, but nope, it was 18 meters. There it is over there. There. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, I wanted to do this because you might have to put this step in. So I already knew that x was a negative, but I had to put this in because sometimes you get a mark for saying measurements are not negative. And then, of course, if you not careful, you will lose a mark for the units. Oh, I see what you mean, Alice. Okay, so you have to show me that you know every time I introduce a plus square root, I need to do my plus minus. But in this case, this one is invalid because measurements cannot be negative. All right, guys, let's look at T. The length of a rectangle is x plus 3 meters and the breadth is x minus 2 meters. If the area, again, we're working with area. I'm looking at you and it's very interesting, but we'll get there just now. If the area is 66 meters squared, calculate the value of x. Again, how do we work out area? We're still working with rectangles. Great. They told us my length. What is my length? X plus 3. So I can say x plus 3 times my breadth, which is what? X minus 2 is equal to the area, which is what according to this question? 66. Now, there was a question above where I said you don't want to FOIL, right? But that had one condition. What was the condition for not foiling, guys? Nice. Pamandla. This is not equal to 0, right? So we have to FOIL to get rid of that 66. So let's get going with foiling. X times x. That is x squared. X times negative 2 minus 2x, and then inner is plus 3x, and then last is minus 6. And I'm going to take my 66 over to the side. So what is my symbol for that 66? You're still correct. You just missed the negative 2x. Negative 66 equals a 0. Great. Okay. Good. You have to have a 0, guys. You cannot solve this thing with no 0 on the right-hand side. And now I have an x squared. Let's talk about the like terms here. Negative 2x plus 3x. What is that? So plus x. And then negative 6 minus 66. Negative 72 equals 0. Now we have our equal 0. And what are we going to do with everything that is on my left-hand side here? What are we going to do with everything on my left-hand side? How are we going to solve this, guys? It's 3 terms, so what is the method we're using, guys? Trinomial. There we go. Trinomials. So I have 2 brackets. Equals 0. What are my factors for x squared? X and x. Great. My first symbol is a plus, so my first bracket will have a positive. And does that mean I keep or change the second one? Keep it. So then my second symbol is a what? A negative. Nice. Now let's go to factors of 72. 1 times 70, 70, 72. There we go. 2 times 36. 3 times 24. 6 times 12. What else? There's one more that I know of that we haven't written here. 7, nope, not 7, 8 times 9. 4 times 18. Woo! Now, out of all these factors, we need a pair that's going to give me a positive 8x, just 1x. Which one is it going to be? Nice, 8 and 9. And as Alice has indicated, my 8 will have to be negative, and my 9 will have to be positive because we have a positive 9 here. Okay, now let's break this into 2 brackets, okay? That means either x plus 9 is equal to 0, or x minus 8 is equal to 0. What is my solution for the first one? Therefore, x is equal to negative 9, or x is equal to positive 8. Whew. Now, oh, they just said x. I thought they wanted the length and breadth. They just said calculate x. How are we doing, guys? Are we good? It is 47, so we definitely have time for you. Time for you, but like, not for you, but for the letter U. You guys get it. The area of a rectangle exceeds the area of a square by 2 meters squared, centimeters squared, excuse me. All right. The length of the rectangle is x plus 2, and its breadth is x minus 1. The square has a side equal to x. Calculate the dimensions of a rectangle. Now, this is a problem-solving sum. Okay? Now, my first tip is organize your information. What do I mean by organize your information? Oh, you also do Olympiads. Oh, guys, I used to love Olympiads. Absolutely love them. When I was in high school, of course. Okay, so we have a rectangle. Okay. That's nice. I've never heard of an NS one. And we have a square. Do you see what I mean when I say organize your information? The length of this is, the length of this is, and my breadth of this is, and my breadth of this is. Great. So they said the length of the rectangle is x plus 2. Plus 2. And its breadth is x minus 1. And the square, one side is equal to x, which means both length and breadth are x because it's a square and all sides are equal. Right? And then it says the area of the rectangle exceeds. What does the word exceed mean? It is larger than, okay? So area of rectangle will be whatever area of square is plus 2. Are we with me? So let's first write area. Okay, I'm not sure how I ended up writing in green. Area of a rectangle, how do we work it out again? Length times breadth, so that will be x plus 2 times x minus 1. And the area of a square is the length squared, so it's going to be x squared. Now, in order for me to put this equal sign here, What do I have to do to the area of the squared for these two to be equal? This is a tricky one. What do I have to do to the area of the squared before these can be equal? Let's read the information. Add what? The area of the rectangle exceeds. Nice. That means it is the area of the square plus 2. Ooh, there is our equation. How are you guys feeling about this? And obviously we don't have equals 0 here, so we have to put everything on one side. But before that, I want us to FOIL, okay? First, outer, inner, lost. So first is x times x, and that's going to give me x squared. X times -1 is negative x. 2 times x is plus 2x, and 2 times -1 is minus 2. Now let's move x squared and positive 2 to my left-hand side. When this x squared moves over, it will become minus x squared. And when my positive 2 moves over, it will become minus 2 equals 0. Whew! Now let's look at our like terms. We have an x squared there and an x squared there. What happens to the x squareds? X squared minus x squared. What happened there? They're gone, okay? And then for x, I have negative x plus 2x. What's negative x plus 2x? That is positive x. And then I have a negative 2 minus 2. Negative 2 minus 2 is minus 4 equals 0. Then how do I solve for x? Therefore, my x is equal to positive 4. Did you guys understand what this meant? We're not done though, because they asked us for the dimensions of the rectangle. So you take the 4 and you substitute it. So then my length will be what? 4 plus 2, which is 6. And my breadth will be 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. Whew. I think you guys have earned going to rest now. I hope you guys loved this beautiful question.